Police found that the Minnesota Senator Hortman and his wife had both been shot. But at 3:35, officers then went to the home of Hortman. They're starting now. Let's listen in.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bob Jacobson. I am the Commissioner of Public Safety, and it's my honor to serve in that position. We're here today to give some updates on the current investigation. First off, I would like to thank the law enforcement agencies and the public out there who are being vigilant, our law enforcement partners who are watching out for others in our community, the understanding and patience of the public as we work to find this individual and bring that person to justice. We know that it's been a difficult day for not only those who have worked with those legislators, but it's also a difficult day for those in the state of Minnesota who are working through this terrible tragedy. Today we have a few speakers who are going to, again, give some updates, and we will be available to answer some questions once all the speakers have had that opportunity to say a few words. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Superintendent Drew Evans of the BCA.
Thanks, Commissioner. And today we are asking for the public's help at this point in time in locating Vance Boelter, who is a 57-year-old white male who's 6 feet 1 inch tall, 220 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. I know this name has been reported in the media so far, and we are confirming as a person of interest that we are looking to locate in relation to this. At this time, we would ask the public, if you do locate him or see him, to call 911. Do not approach him. You should consider him armed and dangerous, and you should call 911 immediately with the information. He was seen last this morning wearing light-colored cowboy hat that you can see up here in the clothing there, with dark-colored long-sleeve collared shirt or coat, light pants, and carrying a dark bag. If you have any tips about the whereabouts or any information that would be helpful, you can call local police department, or you can call our BCA tip line at 877-996-6222, or email us at bca.tips@state.mn.us. We still don't know if additional people are involved, but this individual is the one that we're looking as a person of interest right now. But there may be other people with him, and we would like to speak to anybody that may have had contact with him at any point in time. So please connect with us, even if this has been some time ago today, so that we can follow up and continue to work together to keep our communities safe. And we, as the Commissioner noted, we'll take some questions at the end. But again, we are seeking the assistance of the public in locating him. I want to continue to say, as you see, there's hundreds of law enforcement officers working on this right now for the partners that you see up here today, as well from Champlin, Brooklyn Park, the State Patrol, Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, FBI, ATF, just a myriad of partners working to try to locate this individual. And with that, I will turn it over to the mayor, and we'll answer questions at the end.
So hi, my name is Hollis, Winston, Mayor of the City of Brooklyn Park. First, I want to extend my prayers to the Hortman family, but also to the Hortman family as well. You know, there will come a time down the road for healing within us as a community, but right now I think what's required is a calming words and rhetoric. I want folks to make sure they listen to the facts from credible sources like law enforcement, but also to resist spreading misinformation. And then again, asking folks to listen to law enforcement in general when law enforcement has those specific asks. In Brooklyn Park and Champlin and our surrounding communities, in fact, the state, we're very much family. The Hortman and Hortman families are very much our family. And so our prayers continuously go out to them. And it's very much a time for us to come together as a community and as a family. And I think people need to see it that way. I want to thank law enforcement, Governor Walz, Commissioner Jacobson, Sheriff Witt, FBI, various counties, local law enforcement. Even with our city of Brooklyn Park, we're seeing a ton of local law enforcement and county law enforcement just supporting our city overall. And we want to thank them for doing that. They're dedicated to keeping us safe and to securing justice. I would say to support them again, if you have information, there'll be information behind me. Please share that information. And again, please look and listen for valid information and share that. There will be a time to come together, and I think specifically for the city of Brooklyn Park and within our area, there'll be a time where we come together and we work through what we're going through now as a community. But I want to say this. You know, this individual did this to instill fear into our community, but they also wanted to create a distinct and singular point of view. When I listed all of that law enforcement coming together, that was really us as a state, as a community, from all different walks of life, coming together to work on what's happening. And I received calls from folks across the state, from all different ethnicities and communities as well, with an outpouring of support. So I want you to understand that as a city, but as a state, as a community, we're very much going to come together. We're going to see this through. And we're all going to work together to figure this out. So again, I want to thank our law enforcement, and I want to turn it over to the Mayor of Champlin Park.
Good afternoon. My name is Ryan Sabis, Mayor of Champlin, and on behalf of the City of Champlin, our Police Department, and our City Council, I want to extend a heartfelt thoughts and prayers to Senator John Hoffman and Representative Melissa Hortman and their families. We are deeply saddened by the senseless act of violence, and our hearts are with all those that have been affected. Our police department is working in close partnership with state, local, and federal agencies to pursue this active investigation. We are incredibly grateful for their swift and responsible professional response and for the collaboration of commitment of every officer involved. We ask everyone to stay attentive, report anything that feels concerning, and most of all, continue to show kindness, respect, and care for one another. This is how we move forward together. And again, thank you all for being here. And again, I think Mayor Winston said it well that Hoffman family and the Hortman family are very much part of our communities, part of our fabric of our communities. And we really wish the families all the best. Thank you.
As folks have said, we'll take a few questions. Please don't forget to, in your first question, introduce yourself, your immediate organization with whom you're with, and if you have a question for a specific individual, call that out. Thank you.
From Fox 9, do you have an update on Senator Hoffman's condition?
The question was, do we have an update on Senator Hoffman's condition? We don't at this time. The last information we had is that he was out of surgery and was in stable condition at that time, but that certainly experienced significant injuries, so we'll have to continue to monitor that.
You said person of interest, so not a suspect, or is...
He's a suspect. One and the same for this particular case at this point in time.
Okay, so we can say suspect.
You can say suspect.
Adam Bexer with WCCO News. You know this guy. It was at least affiliated with some sort of security company, according to its own website, that has highly trained security individuals. Can you speak to the level of knowledge this person might have about, using a gun or, different security tactics that might separate him from a typical person walking down the street?
Yes, so the question was regarding the sophistication of the individual based on reports that he owned a security company. I certainly can't get into the details of the investigation. That'll all be part of that. We'll explore all of that. We're aware of the connections that you reference, and the team will be dissecting that between the investigators, Brooklyn Park Police Department, and all of the state, the local, and federal partners that are working on that. Certainly, an individual will have some familiarity if that's the line of work that they're in with some of the tactics that you noted, but we'll be exploring that more fully.
One question about the photo that we're seeing in the cowboy hat and the jacket. Is that photo taken today?
That photo is today.
And is it from a ring camera at the residence of either of our law?
The question is it from a ring camera? It's not. This is from a business. So this is at a business location. And there, we believe, as noted, that we believe he's was still in at this time. He was in the Twin Cities area, and that we are continuing to work and follow up on that. We believe he's working to potentially flee the area, and so that's why we're sharing that with that information now, so that we can safely apprehend him.
Is there a way that you're in touch with the TSA? I know Governor Walz has been in contact with federal agents, as you have mentioned with the FBI.
Yeah.
Are airlines, seeing his pictures, so he doesn't report a plane?
So the question is, are we in contact with TSA? We've been in contact with all of the federal authorities that are relevant to this investigation. We will continue to be.
Are you able to share the time or location that photo was taken today?
The question is, can I share the time and location? This was this morning when this was taken. It was in the city of Minneapolis. That's at this point, I think, all that we can share as we work to follow up on that. We'll
Are there any surveillance or ring camera video from either of the residents where the shooting taking place?
The question is, there's surveillance or ring camera. We do have various video from different locations. I don't want to get into specifics as part of the active investigation, but there is video that has been obtained by the investigators.
Can you talk about some of the other locations that you guys are working on? Green Isle, maybe 49 to Fremont, and
So, yeah, we can, the question is, can we talk about some of the other locations? You know, because our teams are very active as part of an active investigation, I can't talk about the specifics. What I will tell you is the two locations you noted in Minneapolis and in Green Isle, they are related to this investigation and the follow-up that the teams are doing.
I'm going to give Ellen, sorry, we're going to give it to Ellen, and then we're going to have one more question.
Can you talk a little bit more about the manifesto and what kind of motivation it might be doing? We're told that there might be some pro-choice lawmakers on this manifesto. If that has anything to do with the motivation here?
At this point in time, it would be premature. The question was, is the manifesto and the information that we have received as their motivations? We are working diligently on that. There's certainly some indications within that, but there's not specifics enough. We have been, this is a very active and fluid investigation. Throughout the day, as you've been waiting and these teams have been out working out in the field, and they have been gathering more documents and information. So it would be premature for me at this point to really say exactly what the motivation might be from these writings, but we will be continuing to work on that and provide that information when we're able.
Mr. Walker, senior from the search committee. Do you have a sense, did they know each other? Like, did this man know either Representative Hortman or Senator Hoffman in any capacity?
The question is, did they know each other in any capacity? We are still exploring that. There's certainly some overlap with some, public meetings, I will say, with Senator Hoffman and the individual, but we don't know the nature of the relationship or if they actually knew each other.
All right, thank you. Thanks, everybody.
All right, as you see there, pretty brief news conference officially wrapping up there in Minnesota. But you can see there on the screen, that's the person that they're looking for. They've described him as having some sort of enforcement background there, as owning a security company. They said they're aware of some of these reports, but that's the man on the screen. The 57-year-old is wanted in these two shootings. His name is Vance Boelter. They did say there that they've been in contact with multiple law enforcement agencies in order to coordinate to talk with them to see if they're able to locate him. They're now asking for the public's help, asking them to reach out if anyone sees him. But that picture you see on the screen with the suspect in the hat, they say that was taken outside of a business in the Twin Cities today. So they want people to focus on this image as they're still looking for him to see if they're able to locate him. They're putting out a full description there with him in a dark jacket and a cowboy hat as well. So we'll continue to keep our eyes on this story here on Live Now from Fox. We've been getting in some of these updates all day long, and our partners there at Fox 9 have been doing an incredible job staying on top of this story. But again, very sad story today out of Minnesota, as a lawmaker was shot and killed alongside her husband. Again, we'll keep you updated here on Live Now from Fox. We do know that another lawmaker, a state senator, was also shot in the process. He and his wife were shot, but they are expected to survive. Governor Tim Walz said that they are cautiously optimistic. So we're still getting in some of this reaction as well from others in response to this shooting. I want to put this up on your screen. This is there from Senator Amy Klobuchar. She's making some remarks saying she is heartbroken and horrified by the tragic loss of Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark, who were taken from us in an act of violence. Melissa was a good friend, and we started in politics at the same time, and we're always here for one another. She was a true public servant to the core, dedicating her life to serving Minnesotans with integrity and compassion. Melissa's legacy will endure, but today we grieve deeply. John's and my prayers are with their children, their loved ones, and all who are mourning in this devastating loss. Again, this is what law enforcement officers are calling a targeted attack. So we'll continue to keep you updated as any more details come into our newsroom. But right now, that manhunt for the suspect is still on at this hour. Take another look there at your screen. Some of those images just released there by officials. We're going to take the time now to slide away for a 2-minute commercial break. Stay right here with us on live coverage. But again, the House leader, Melissa Hortman, was shot and killed in what they're calling targeted attacks on Democratic lawmakers. Let's listen in to some of Fox 9's coverage.
When you got that shelter,
you can keep that mic 6 inches lower.
Okay. When you got that order to stay sheltered, stay in place, what did you think of that? Do you remember?
No, I wasn't think of anything. I just recorded and I post on my TikTok and they say, hey, something happened in my neighborhood. Yeah.
Do you remember a couple of years ago someone had told me there had been protests outside her house? Did you remember ever seeing that?
I remember. He remember, I don't.
Okay,
I don't really keep up the news. He do.
Okay. And you said for you, Melissa, I mean, it was kind of cool to have the Speaker of the House or Speaker of the Minnesota House.
During, I think, 2023, I was trick-or-treating, and I went up to her house, and she was there. I was like, "Oh, really? This is where you live?" And then we took a photo together, and then, I don't know, but the day of the protest, I think it was like 2021, one of my friends who live also nearby her house, she told me that some people knocked on her door and then said they're going to do protests. I don't know what exactly they were protesting, but there was something there.
Did you hear the gunfire?
No, I wasn't. I was still kind of asleep. I heard sirens, but I wasn't sure what was going on because I thought it was like from the highway, but it was just right over there.
Really quiet neighborhood in general, I take it.
Yeah.
Of course. How are you? What's your mindset now? Are you sad?
I'm a little disappointed on why people are shooting politicians, and I don't know. It's kind of odd for this to happen.
I think people don't necessarily know how to react. It is odd. It's odd. It's scary. It's upsetting, sad. I mean, there's so many emotions, I think, going through a lot of folks today, whether you're a legislator or just a resident, a citizen, and then even differently for those who live near the victims in this case. So just a lot to process. Still looking for the suspect that has not been brought into custody yet. He left on foot from Melissa Hortman's home early this morning. He left on foot. How he got anywhere from there is unclear. We don't know.
Yeah, Paul Bloom, who is in Brooklyn Park, just put in 204, so a couple of minutes ago here, that they just got another shelter-in-place bulletin in that area where he is near the golf course. All the phones just went off. Still 3-mile radius. He says the verbiage is the same. So again, shelter in place if you are in that area. It's not a lockdown. You can come and go, but they're asking people just to sort of stay put. There are obviously out there, we've seen them trying to look for any evidence. They just don't want things to be disturbed, or you just never know what small piece of evidence could be where, in a yard or that kind of thing. So just asking people just to kind of stay put while the investigation continues there.
And there's that location, the Green Isle location, and of course the Minneapolis location. A lot of stuff going on as they try to track down this guy. And then of course we have these protests that the governor had asked and the state police had asked people not to attend, but a lot of people did anyway. These are no kings, anti-Trump type protests that in some cases are going on anyway. The big one was at the Capitol. That should be about over by now, I would think.
I would think so, although it sounds like there were still quite a few people there, according to our reporters. And then we have another reporter who says they're looking at one in Minnetonka that's pretty massive, easily hundreds of people there. So not everybody's paying attention to the news, and not everybody gets up and checks social media, and not everybody gets the message. But if you If you are hearing this and you are planning on going out anywhere to a political rally, you're being asked not to do that today.
Meanwhile, we have learned a lot about the suspect. Specifically, Fox 9's Tim Blotz has learned a lot about the suspect in the last hour or so. We're going to go to him now. Tim, can you there's a lot to know about this guy. Can you kind of run down the details for us?
Absolutely, Karen. There really is. And when I give you his background here, I think you're going to see a lot of things perhaps line up to the evidence that we've discovered at the scene that law enforcement is pouring through at the moment. Now, the suspect's name is Vance Luther Boelter. This has been confirmed by the Associated Press through unnamed sources, but this is the person that they're looking for. He's 57 years old, and he has an extensive police security background, okay? He is currently the Director of Security Patrols at Praetorian Guard Security Services here in the Twin Cities. Now, that company's website says that Vance is involved with security situations, or has been, in Eastern Europe, Africa, North America, the Middle East, including the West Bank, southern Lebanon, and the Gaza Strip. He has also worked, according to their website, with the largest U.S. oil refining company, also the world's largest food company based in Switzerland, and the world's largest convenience retailer based in Japan. So he has extensive security backgrounds across the globe. According to his educational background, this is from another website that I found, the Minnesota Africans United website, and he apparently very well served with that organization, that he majored in international relations at St. Cloud State, has his master's in management along with his doctorate in education from Cardinal Stritch University in Milwaukee, which is a very reputable university in the Milwaukee area. Now, here's another interesting point, gals. He was appointed by Governor Walz back in 2016 to serve on the governor's workforce board. That term expired in 2018. He was reappointed in 2019. That term expired in 2023. And you have to understand, in state government, various governors have a lot of advisory boards to help them on various issues that the executive branch of government has to work with. Every governor has these. You know, Dayton had them, Pawlenty had them, Governor Walz certainly has them. And what the governor's workforce board does, it advises the governor on issues with workforce development across the state. And he was a private sector representative appointed to be on that board. Okay, so but his background with this private security company would match to some of the evidence found at the scene. Number one, the black security car that was there that looked very much like a police cruiser, that Ford Explorer with the lights that were still flashing on board, the entire car in black. And also, he would have access to the types of uniforms and equipment that Brooklyn Park police officers described the suspect wearing when they confronted him when he came out the front door of Melissa Hortman's home. Now, the police chief there, Chief Burley, described him wearing a police black uniform with a taser, various other apparatus on, and a badge that he said that looked just like mine at the news conference this morning. In fact, he told all the reporters there at the time that if we were both standing in the same room, you would not know that he was not a police officer. And again, according to the chief, after he engaged with the officers there, shots were exchanged. And sometimes, and Karen, you can speak to this because you've covered so many police news conferences over the years and you're one of our most outstanding crime reporters here in the Twin Cities. Sometimes you have to pay attention to what's not said in these statements. And in this particular news conference statement this morning, he said that they engaged fire with the suspect. Now, missing from that was whether they hit the suspect. We do not know that yet. We do not know whether he is injured, and they have not confirmed that. But they did say that the suspect then fled out the back door and has not been seen since, and that's the subject now of this very intense search that is going on in the Brooklyn Park area. Now, we want you to look, you're seeing some live video right now. This is of the suspect's home in Green Isle. This is from Sky Fox 9. There has been a large police contingent there this morning. We do have cameras on the ground there as well. One of our photographers, Sean Skinner, is there showing the large police presence of his last known address in the Green Isle area. And you can see that area there, the boom camera shot there from the camera, very rural, very extensive. And there you can see some of the, back down on the ground now, some of the law enforcement presence as they gather there to conduct their search. But as far as investigators know at the time, he may still be in that Brooklyn Park area, that 3 square mile quadrant that's been blocked off, where people have been told to stay in their homes with the important instruction that if someone comes to your door wearing a police-looking uniform and they're by themselves, to call 911 immediately and verify that that is in fact a legitimate member of law enforcement. Now, the police chief has instructed, along with Sheriff DeWitt, has instructed all the investigators out at the scene that if they're approaching a home, make sure that you have 2 or more officers so that you can be identified by the homeowner there at the scene. If you do not see that and you live in that perimeter there, make sure that you call 911 and ask for verification of the police-like suspect or person that you see at your door. So very, very important security information that they're putting out there as this active search is still going on. Amy, Karen?
Okay. Thanks, Tim. Yes, he's right. The active search is still going on, and where they think the suspect is right now, we're not sure. They're still searching Brooklyn Park. They're still searching in Minneapolis, and now they're searching in Green Isle. So, but they do know who he is, and that suspect, as Tim has been saying, has, you know, been information on him released, and that's that Vance Boelter. So.
Yeah, and Tim, just really quickly, you were, I think, on the air here when we just got this up. Someone put in here, apparently, the New York Times has spoken with the Director of Security Patrols on the website of the security group that that he worked for, and it says, quote, "We drive the same make and model of vehicles that many police departments use in the U.S., according to them." So obviously, as Tim was saying, a lot of these pieces are starting to come together a little bit more here on the access, the knowledge, him being sort of in the flow of the legislature and understanding the vulnerabilities there on that end of things as well. So we have that Green Isle active scene right now, which again, we don't know what's happening there, but we just know that law enforcement is present in armored vehicles.
And the Bloomington Bomb Squad.
And the Bloomington Bomb Squad
is there.
Yes, and so we have that scene that we were just showing you. The other really couple, Brooklyn Park, want to keep mentioning, as Tim was saying, shelter in place there.
All right, as you see there, we were just getting an update again from some of our partners there at Fox 9 in Minneapolis. They've been in continuous coverage over the last few hours, as we do now know about the suspect who has been identified, accused of shooting and killing Melissa Hortman. She was the Speaker of the House there in the Minnesota state legislature, and she was killed earlier today alongside her husband, another state lawmaker as well. Senator John Hoffman and his wife were also shot multiple times. Again, that manhunt for that suspect is still underway at this point. We'll continue to keep monitoring this story and checking in with our partners there at Fox 9 throughout the afternoon, especially as we continue to get new updates.